Well, hello, it's Miss Gina, and we're reading Ratatouille still, and you're at Gina's Planet, and I'm so glad you're here. This is Ratatouille, the junior novelization, and we left off on chapter 3. Chapter 3 today. In the kitchen, Remy happily rummaged through the spices, while Emile stared nervously at the old lady who was fast asleep in front of the TV. As usual, it was tuned to the cooking channel. Saffron, saffron, where is the saffron? Remy located tarragon, allspice, sage, basil, and dill, but the saffron was nowhere to be found. Emile was starting to panic. No good. Don't like it. She's gonna wake up. I've been down here 1,000,000 times, said Remy. She turns on the cooking channel and boom, never wakes up. You've been here 1,000,000 times? Remy ignored his brother. I'm telling you, saffron will be just the thing. Gusto swears by it. Emile was lost. Okay, who's Gusto? He asked. Just the greatest chef in the world, Remy replied. He pushed aside some cookbooks, revealing the old woman's copy of Anyone Can Cook. Gusto wrote this cookbook. Emile stared at his brother. Wait a minute. You read? Remy bit his lip. Well, not excessively, he said, embarrassed. Oh, man, Emile groaned. Does Dad know? Remy laughed. You could fill a book, a lot of books, with things Dad doesn't know. And they have, which is why I read, which is also our secret. Emile was upset. I don't like secrets. All this cooking and reading and TV watching while we read and cook, it's like you're involving me in a crime. And I let you. Why do I let you? Remy barely even heard his brother. That saffron had to be somewhere. Meanwhile, above their heads, the rat colony streamed into the dark attic. It was dinner time. Django wanted as each rat carried food from the compost heap and tossed it into a pile in the center of the room, but he was distracted. What's taking those kids so long, he wondered. At last, Remy located a tiny tin of saffron and held it up as if it were a rare jewel. Saffron. Ah, a kilo saffron. Italian. Gusto says it's excellent. Good thing the old lady is a food, love. Remy cut himself off in a mid-sentence as he heard a familiar voice coming from the TV. This is about your cooking, the voice began. Hey, that's Gusto, Remy said excitedly to his brother. Emile, look. The two brothers stared at the screen. Great cooking is not for the faint of heart, explained Gusto. You must be imaginative, strong-hearted, and must try things that may not work. And you must not let anyone. Remy walked toward the TV, completely transfixed. Define your limits because of where you come from. Your only limit is your soul. What I say is true. Anyone can cook. He looked at the camera sternly, then cracked a smile. But only the fearless can be great. Pure poetry, Remy said in awe. But it was not to last, said the narrator on TV. Gusto's restaurant lost one of the 5 stars after a scathing review by France's top food critic, Anton Ego. It was a severe blow to Gusto, and the great chef died shortly afterward. Some say of a broken heart. Remy was stunned. Gusto is dead? He said in disbelief. Suddenly, the TV clicked off. In the reflection of the screen, Remy could see that the old woman was awake and staring right at him. "Ah!" shouted Remy. He sprinted past Emile, who was sitting in a dirty pan on the stove, stuffing his face with scraps. The old woman reached into her umbrella stand and pulled out a shotgun. She aimed and pop! An umbrella stuck in the end of the gun flew open. She tossed it aside, aimed again, and fired, narrowly missing the brothers. "Run, run, ah!" yelled Remy. Emile scrambled up the stovepipe as fast as his little legs could carry him. On autopilot, he ran toward the hole in the ceiling that led to the attic. "No!" shouted Remy. "You'll lead her to the colony." The old woman blasted huge holes in the ceiling just behind the scrambling Emile. He leapt clear of a blast and landed on the end of a hanging light fixture. She leveled the gun barrel at the helplessly dangling Emile. Remy hid his eyes. He couldn't watch. The old woman aimed and fired. Click! The shotgun was empty. She raced off for more shells. Emile struggled to pull his chubby body up into the light fixture. Remy ran to help his brother. The old woman found a fresh box of shotgun shells. Spilling them in her excitement, Emile swung the lamp back and forth until he was finally able to grab Remy's paw. Yes! But then the lamp swung backward, pulling Remy onto it too. As the woman loaded a shell into the shotgun, Remy and Emile scrambled up the lamp to the hole in the ceiling. She fired again. As the smoke cleared, she saw that she had missed both rats. Crack! A chunk of ceiling broke free. Her last shot had completed a perfect circle of shotgun holes in the ceiling. All of a sudden, the attic floor, some furniture, and hundreds of very surprised rats came crashing down. Not believing her eyes, the old woman screeched and ran out of the room. Django hit the floor and started issuing orders. "Evacuate! Sound the alarm!" he shouted. The rats quickly began to stream out of the farmhouse. They were so intent on their flight that they barely registered the return of the old woman, who was now wearing a gas mask and wielding a gas canister. In the yard, Remy and Emile fled along with the escaping mob of rats. Suddenly, to Emile's utter confusion, Remy stopped and turned back, battling upstream through the flood of fleeing rats. "The book!" he cried. Inside, the old woman was madly spraying gas everywhere, holding his breath. Remy summoned all his strength and pushed the cookbook across the counter and out the kitchen window. At the riverbank, Django directed the panic-stricken rats to makeshift boats. The boats pushed off just as Remy, clutching Gusto's cookbook, reached the shore. Using the book as a raft, Remy jumped on top of it and started paddling after the colony. "I'm coming!" he shouted. "I'm coming!" "Hold on, son," called Django. He turned to the other rats. "Give him something to grab onto." The rats held out a spatula toward Remy. "Paddle, son," Django shouted desperately. Soon enough, Remy was able to get one paw onto the spatula and pull himself closer. Blam! A shotgun blast hit the water, sending Remy flying off the book. Django looked up. The old woman was shooting from the footbridge directly above them. "You can make it," Django yelled hoarsely. Remy struggled to get back onto the book and catch up with his family. As the old woman blasted away, the rat boats disappeared into the drain pipe. Remy climbed back onto the book and grabbed the spatula, using it as an oar before the old woman could reload and start firing again. Remy paddled into the drain pipe. He was safe. for now. And we'll leave off on chapter 4. We'll read chapter 4 next time. I'll see you next time. Remember to read more in 2024 and grow your brain. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.